So our next revision is remuneration, meetings, section 173, meetings chapter. Meetings chapter, section 173 says that company should have 4 board meetings in a year, and the first board meeting should happen within 30 days of incorporation, and thereafter 4 board meetings in a year, and the time gap between 2 board meetings should not exceed 120 days. But there are certain exceptions. For section 8 company, it is once in half year. For small company, dormant company, it is once in half year, and time gap between the 2 meeting minimum should be 90 days. The thing is, section 8 company doesn't have this point. Okay, then notice should be given for board meeting. The notice should be given at least 7 days before the board meeting. If you are giving lesser than 7 days, then it is called shorter notice board meetings. Hence, independent director, if any, should participate in that meeting. Okay, then agenda. Whether notice should contain agenda? Yes, the notice should have agenda because it is told in SS1. Then can the meeting be held on holidays? The meeting cannot be held on holidays. Okay, even the board meeting as well as the adjourned meeting. If the board meeting is not held for the want of quorum, then the adjourned board meeting, if it's fall on the next year, it will be still counted that the 4 board meetings happen on the last year itself. For example, on 3 meetings already over and the 4th meeting is on the December month, but it's got adjourned and go to the next year, because in board meeting it is calendar year and not financial year. Okay, so this point you should keep in mind. Board meeting can also happen on video conferencing. So, but there are certain points which cannot be dealt in video conferencing. So, what are the points that cannot be dealt in video conferencing? Adoption of financial statements, then director's report, prospectus, diversification of business, then audit committee's recommendation. So, these points cannot be dealt in video conferencing. Then section 174, quorum. At least 1/3 or 2 directors, whichever is higher, should be a quorum. Quorum for section 8 company is 8 directors or 25% of the total number of board, whichever is lower, subject to a minimum of 2. If there is no quorum, then the meeting will be adjourned. Adjourned meeting will happen on next week, same day, same place, and otherwise it's on a holiday. You have to refer SS2 for holidays. Okay, so SS2 says any holiday you cannot have a board meeting. Then in case the number of director falls vacant, you should reduce that number of directors from the total when you are counting quorum. If more than 2/3 are interested, then remaining or 2, whichever is higher, form a quorum. If all directors except 1 is interested, then 2 is a quorum. Then section 174 also says, in case if the number of directors fall below the statutory minimum, even 1 director will form a quorum to increase the number of directors to statutory minimum. Then 175, circular resolution. So circular resolution means like urgent business which cannot be transacted in the board meeting, but board resolution is needed for the business. Then the chairman of the company can initiate a draft resolution which can be circulated to all the directors with back papers. If more than half of the directors accepted, then circular resolution can be passed. If 1/3 of the directors want the discussion to be made in face to face, then the chairman has to conduct the face to face board meeting only. Then the transaction which required board meeting under section 179 cannot be done in circular resolution. But transaction which doesn't want 179 specifically, like check signing, authority changing, bank account opening, these are all can be done in circular resolution itself. Then section 176, defects in appointment of the directors will not make the act invalid. So it says what? In case if the director is having a defect like disqualification, who got appointed as director, then the act done by him in past, till we come to know that this person is disqualified and still acting as director, the act which is done in past will not be invalid, but the future act will become invalid. So what he have to do, he has to immediately vacate the office. So if he is still continuing, his acts are invalid. Then 177, audit committee, applicability. Listed company mandatory, public company having paid up capital 10 crores or more, borrowings exceeding 50 crores, paid up capital 10, turnover 100 crores or more, borrowing exceeding 50 crores. Audit committee should have 3 directors minimum and majority shall be independent. And what is the duty of the audit committee? To select the auditor, check their independence, then to appoint internal and secretarial auditor, to recommend the statutory auditor, then fix their remunerations, to see ICD, intercorporate deposits are properly made with security, then if there is any related party transaction they should give approval, and valuation of undertaking, internal control implementation, and IFC over FR. Okay, these are the things they should see.
Qualification of audit.
If there is a qualification of the audit report, then they should discuss with the auditors. Before even it should be signed by the auditors, and before the finance statement signed by the board of directors, they should discuss. And the internal control weakness also they will discuss with the internal auditor. Then you have this vigil mechanism concept. In case of listed companies and companies having borrowings more than 50 crores or accepted deposits, you have vigil mechanism concept. In the vigil mechanism, what it says, the company should establish whistleblowing mechanism, and the whistleblower should be protected by the chairman of the audit committee. Then section 178, nomination remuneration committee. Like same applicability of 177. Here they have 3 directors. Here half or more shall be independent. Okay, and they will be selecting the directors, training and fix the remuneration, fixed, variable, etc. those things. Then 178.5, stakeholder relations committee. In case if the company is having 1000 cumulatively shareholders, debenture holder, deposit holder, then they have to have this kind of redressal mechanism committee, and the chairman of this committee should not be the chairman of the board. Then a person who appointed or recommended by nomination remuneration committee to become director, this has to be linked with section 160. He will not be depositing at 1 lakh rupees. Then 179, board meeting. The powers which can be exercised only in board meetings are issue of shares, then borrow money, buyback, then investment, giving guarantees, loans, deposits, political contribution, diversification of business. In this, borrowing monies from bank should not exceed aggregate paid up capital and free reserves. Now they have added securities premium also in the amendment. So paid up capital plus free reserve plus securities premium. Securities premium is what is not there previously, now it is there. Now then how much I can buy back? I can buy back by passing board resolution up to 10% of paid up capital plus free reserves plus securities premium. Then borrowing beyond this should go for special resolution under section 180. Borrowings, if it's temporary loans which is repaid on demand, or if it's temporary nature like cash credit or overdraft, it is not included in the limit of borrowings. Then what are the powers that can be delegated to 3 people, which is like committee, managing director, principal officer of a branch. Borrowing, investing and granting loans, okay, can be delegated to these 3 people after passing a board resolution. Then section 180, restrictions by passing special resolution, these can be done. Okay, what are the restrictions? Which is like board restrictions around board actually. So number 1 is
undertaking.
Sale of disposal of undertaking wholly or substantially whole. Number 2, investing the compensation received from the sale. Number 3, borrowing beyond the limit specified under section 179. Number 4, buyback beyond the limit specified under section 179. So section 68 is buyback, so you should link section 68, section 179 and 180. Then extending the time limit for repayment of the loan taken by the directors. For these and all you should pass special resolution. This section itself is applicable only to Public limited company. For private limited company, whatever you want, you can do it in board resolution itself. Then 181, contribution to charity. By passing board resolution, a company can contribute 5% of the net profit compared to section 198 in average of last 3 years. Next,
To increase, to contribute more.
if they want to contribute more, they have to pass ordinary resolution in general meeting. Then section 182, political contribution.
No limit.
No limits. It has been amended last year. There is no limit. Even the name of the political party need not be disclosed in the financial statement, but they should write political contribution made.
Then companies which cannot.
Then which are the companies which cannot do political contribution?
Government company.
Government company and company which is incorporated for a period
Less than
3 years. Okay, and producer company also cannot do political contribution. Section 183, contribution to defense fund. So what is this?
No limit.
There is no
Limit.
limit for contribution to defense fund. Then 184, disclosure of interest of directors. So every director in the first board meeting in which you participate in the financial year, you should disclose the interest. So what are the things which you should disclose? If he is a director in a company, if he is a partner in a firm, then if he is holding more than 2% shares, if he is a member of a AOP or BOI, okay, you should disclose. And whenever there is a change, you should disclose. You should revise his disclosure and submit in MBB1 form. Then if he is not doing this, then he will be vacating the office under section 167. Then 185, loans to directors, etc. This section got amended, but the amendment is not yet implemented, so you should write before the amendment. Okay. So what is this section? You should not give loan to director. Loan includes loans, book debts, advances, okay, securities, guarantees, and director or any other person in whom the director is having interest. Any other person in whom director is having interest includes
Director, if he is a director.
Director of the holding company, then a relative, a firm in which he or his relative is a partner, body corporate in which it is accustomed to act on the instruction of the lending company's directors, body corporation in which 25% of the shareholding is lent by is having lending company, then a private limited company in which the director is a shareholder or a director. Okay. Then exemption, MD, a company can give to its MD as an employee by passing special resolution. Then if it's a NBFC company whose principal business itself is lending, then
Rates.
if it's a wholly owned subsidiary, they can give loan. If it is a subsidiary company, they can give guarantee and security. Then for a private limited company, if 3 conditions are satisfied, this section is exempted. Number 1, no corporate is holding, no body corporate is holding securities in the company. The loan taken has not exceeded 2 times of the paid up capital or 50 crores, whichever is less. The loan from the banks and financial institution. Number 3, it should not be defaulted. Then we will go to section 186, investments, loans, etc. A company should not have more than 2 layers of investment subsidiary. See, subsidiary and investment subsidiary, there is a difference, so you should know what is that. Then if a company wants to give investments or loan to another company or a firm or a person, they should pass unanimous board resolution. So in this section they have unanimous board resolution. First you should write unanimous board resolution. Then how much we can do, 60% of paid up capital, free reserve security premium, or 100% of free reserve security premium, whichever is higher. Beyond that, if they want to do, then they have to pass special resolution. Then person can get loans, body corporate can get investments. So you should understand. So the 60% is person is different, body corporate is different. So investment in body corporate, that means investment if it's made in a mutual fund, it's exempted from the definition of body corporate. So you can do n number of investment. So investment in firm is also exempted because it is the word investment in body corporate. So these are the points to be remembered. Then section 187, So 186 also it says like in case if the company is having a loan from a public finance institution like LIC, ADFC and UTI, if that loan is subsisting and if they are outstanding, if they are not paying properly, without their permission you cannot give. Okay, but the word missed here is bank. Okay, so if you have a loan from bank, they are not restricting anything. Then if a company section 1
rate of interest,
yeah, whenever you are giving loan you should have charge minimum rate of interest, at least government bond rate you should charge. So 10-year yield bond, 5-year yield bond, near to the government bond you should charge. Then 187 investments. Okay, whenever the company is having investments, they should have in their own name. If they are having investment in others' name, then they should disclose.
Maintain a register.
They should disclose the reason in the register why they are keeping in others' name. It's like wholly owned subsidiary concepts. Then it should be available for inspection by debenture holder as well as the member. Then section 188 related party transaction. Related party transaction have 3 points to be remembered. First you should pass board resolution, then you should pass audit committee resolution, then you should pass ordinary resolution in the general meeting. So ordinary resolution in general meeting is applicable only if the paid up capital has exceeded the threshold limit. The threshold limit has not specified anywhere. Previously it was 10 crores, now they have removed this limit. So you should write as prescribed. Then they have threshold limit for the transaction. For sale or purchase of goods and materials, it's like 10% of the turnover or 100 crores, whichever is less. Sale or disposal of assets or purchase of asset, 10% of the net worth or 100 crores, whichever is less. Leasing, 10% of the turnover or 100 crores or 10% of the net worth, whichever is less. Then for doing a service, okay, purchase or sale of service, either directly or through agent, 10% of the turnover or 50 crores, whichever is less. Then holding ops or place of profit, holding ops or place of profit. For director, even 1 rupee over and above the remuneration what he takes, he will be penalized. Means like they should be, ordinary resolution should be there. For relative it is 2.5 lakhs per month. Okay, beyond that if they want to take remuneration, they have to take ordinary resolution. For underwriting, exceeding 1% of the net worth. Then if they are not taking the resolutions properly, then it can get ratified within a period of 3 months. If not, okay, it will be voidable at the option of board or company, as the case may be, because certain transaction only company needed. So that is an amendment. It will come this examination, voidable at the option of board or the company, as the case may be. There is an amendment here. Okay, section 189.
Not applicable to private company.
Yeah.
Interested member can.
Yeah, for a private limited company, for a public limited company, interest member cannot vote. For a private limited company, interest member can vote. For a public listed company, if it's closely held public company, that is all the 90% of the shareholders are related, then they can vote. Okay. Then section 189, register to be maintained for related party transaction, section 188 as well as section 184. Okay, this will be linked. Then so they have to keep a register. Whenever the amount exceeds 5 lakh rupees, they should write in the register. It's like cumulatively in annum. Okay. Then 190. What is 190?
Contract of employment.
Contract of employment of MD. Okay, contract of employment of MD. Every company should have a contract with MD before appointing him. So your terms and conditions, remuneration, everything has been set forth in that contract only. Then 191 is compensation for loss of office of the directors. Okay, in case if more than 1/3 of the shareholder sold the share and or the company became subsidiary of another company, in these cases if the company is like acquired by another company, if there is a loss of directorship for a director, you will not get compensation. In either case you will be getting compensation. For MD, you have to read section 202. Compensation for the director, what are the points to be remembered? Board resolution has to be passed. Then the notice calling for the general meeting has to be given, and in general meeting they have to pass ordinary resolution. The notice calling for the general meeting should give the name of the director, amount, source for the amount, reason for paying it, and what mode you will be paying it. Okay, these are the points to be remembered. Then 192, non-cash transaction. If any company is buying or selling the property, but it is not in consideration of cash, it is other than cash from the director. Okay, so it's not only for the company and director, it's like director's company, holding company, subsidiary company, everything. Then if this product is getting exchanged, okay, then
pass ordinary. First we have to value the asset.
Then we have to value the asset, pass board resolution.
Then ordinary resolution.
Then ordinary resolution by giving the valuer certificate. Okay. So registered valuation. Here registered valuer point is coming. Like valuer certificate you should give. If not, it is voidable as the option of the company. Then 193, one person company transaction. Transaction with one person company. So what it is? In case if the one person, the sole member, is transacting with the one person company, then it should have in the like there should be a contract for it, agreement for it. And if the company is having more than one director in the one person company, then it should be approved by the directors. Or if there is no directors, it should be directly filed with ROC within 15 days of contract. 194 and 195 has been deleted from your portion. So with this we completed directors chapter.